Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup here with our photojournalist, cameraman, editor, on air, badass motherfucker. He's not on a spaceship. He's just in pain. Tommy Tahifi Bayliss. Let's start with your update because the audience has been asking how you feeling, what's going on with your neck, and why you're wearing an airport neck pillow in your apartment.
That's funny. I'm gonna take it off, dog. I have to wear this neck pillow because my shit is fucked up, and when I sleep, like I literally can't move. But he said I need that. He wanted me to buy something, but I was like, I got a neck pillow for the airplane, so hold on. But yeah, so that's why I had that on, but it looks shitty on camera. Yeah, man, my shit is fucked up, dog. I have a slip disc, pinching a nerve somewhere in my neck. I got an MRI on Thursday, and he said he said I may need surgery. He said it looked like I may have to get it. He said, but I need to show a surgeon. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get in a comfortable space. I need to show a surgeon so he can see like exactly if it's a minimal invasive surgery or they have to really go in, or they can do like an epidural. I really didn't understand the epidural. I guess epidural is some like pressure where they can put in and push the thing back into place. I don't know, but I have to like try to, first I gotta get insurance. This is like, it's crazy. I don't have insurance right now, so this is like, you know what this, like you talking about Medicare for all, like, oh.
You've spent already almost $1,000 just on doctors.
Dog, it's absurd. It's absurd, like the money I've had to spend so far just to get the MRI and to be in. I'm in pain now, but this is kind of pain that I can deal with. The pain before, like I couldn't even sit down. I had to pace around. Remember we tried to do the podcast the other day, and I literally, now you know me, I can talk, I get loud. You was like, you're not even saying that. I'm like, I can't. I was just focused on the pain. It was hurting that bad. Like I couldn't say nothing. I went I had to fly to Wisconsin to try to shoot something last weekend. I literally was stuck in bed. I couldn't pick up my camera and just fucked off that whole shoot. And I had to like just lay in bed and then go home because I couldn't even pick up my camera. It was that bad because I had some bullshit medication, so it wasn't working. And when I got back, I was able to get some stronger medication. And so now the pain is tolerable right now. I mean, it hurts when I go like this, but it's so much better than it was. Like before, I literally wanted to kill myself. Like that's like, I was thinking about, who was the dude from Nirvana? Kurt Cobain. And how in the suicide letter, he talked about his stomach pains. And he was just sick and tired of his stomach pains. Like, dead ass. I was like, this makes you just really want to die. It was hurting that bad. And I couldn't, there was nothing no position that I could put myself in to like get relief. And I couldn't sleep. It was the craziest thing. I mean, like even now I can't sleep. Like even with that pillow, like if I move a certain way, it wakes me up. It's like, it's a sharp pain. And like last night I was able to get, I think today, I ended up falling asleep around 6 o'clock and I got like 2 hours. I woke up around 8, and I haven't slept in 2 days straight. So I literally in the past 3 days only got 2 hours of sleep. Well, no, the other day when we were going, I think yesterday, I was up 2 days, then yesterday I slept for from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So I got in the past 3 days, I got probably 8 hours of sleep.
Well, this is part of why we cover Medicare for All so much, because from debilitating neck, back pain, I was right where you were 6 months ago.
And you know what? I didn't really appreciate it. I knew your back were like, you remember every time we would go, you always say, you need me to help you? I'm like, nah, you're back. I got it. I would carry everything. I wouldn't have you carry anything, but I still didn't get the pain that you was in. If it was anything like that, because you said, I remember you telling me my foot, you used to say my foot is numb. So my arm is numb. So if your foot is numb because of that and your pain was like this, you really dealt with it Like your poker face was amazing because you said you was in pain, but I never really like. We were still able to go out and walk. You would have saw it all over my face. It would have just been like just right there, prominent.
Yeah, the whiskey and Adderall, it helps. But well, I'll make this short because I know you're in pain. But obviously today
we can go a little bit. Like it's manageable. It's like it's manageable. I'll probably shift a little bit, but it's manageable, so we can go.
So let's talk.
Let's get the people what they want.
What I want to do is introduce people to the Status Coup team, which is lean and mean. It's you, me, and Jen. You and me. This is our second rendezvous.
Lean and mean. I like that.
Yeah. As you smoke your pen.
We all know us. We all know us hookah. FYI, y'all know I smoke.
Tell everybody. Tell everybody. Yeah. I don't even think I know the full story. You're from Compton. You obviously weren't raised in a Leave It to Beaver environment.
Definitely
tell
Leave It
the
to
audience
Beaver.
Who you are.
Well, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, we're growing pretty quick. So probably some people that don't know who I am. I'm Ty from Compton, originally born and raised there. You know, I got into gangs and all that. You know, as a juvenile, I went to jail for 2 years. As an adult, for some months while I was, just in the streets doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And
no, you keep saying but I don't know what happened. What led to that?
I mean, what do you mean? What led to? You want me to get into? I don't need to get into specifics of what I done. It's not good. The things that I did.
Not what you did, but I'm assuming it's not like you had a lot of opportunity.
No, I didn't have a lot of opportunity. My father, he was a heroin addict, and my mother, she was a prostitute. I never saw about when I was born, she wasn't anymore, but being a prostitute the majority of your life, like it's hard to kind of let that mentality go. So even though when I was raised knowing her as just this super, super Christian person with hella flaws, you know what I'm saying? But, and I grew up in that environment, and, I wasn't special in that environment. Like everyone I grew up with, something was going on, and it was as extreme as my reality, and it was what it was. But it led you to trying to survive by any means, and that's what happened. It just was what it was. I can look back on it in retrospect and see how awful it was, but when you're in it, it's just life. You don't really have anything to compare it to. So it just was what it was when I was there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want it to seem like, in a sense, my life was like, for me, coherently traumatic. It was just that life, and while I was in it, it was just life. Everyone had these circumstances, you know what I'm saying? It was only when I stepped out of it, when I started to change, when I grew up, when I was able to move out of Compton and see something different, that I realized how extreme my childhood was. Well,
it's interesting. It's interesting because some of the studies globally on the happiest places on earth, surprisingly, some of the poorest places on earth are the happiest.
Yeah.
They don't know anything else.
Exactly.
So they just they don't know that things should be or could be better. So they just kind of appreciate things as they are.
You know what's funny? I remember I don't know how this memory just came to me right now when you were talking about that. But on the contrary, I knew shit wasn't good, because I remember always like daydreaming about, damn, what if I was born and I had money? Like I would always have that like daydream as a kid. I remember always having like daydreaming about if I had money to do something, because I knew we were broke. I knew we didn't have money. I knew that when we were just eating potatoes and bread for a week, we was waiting for the first to come around, so we can get our county check. We call it, in the hood, we used to call it county check, but it's a welfare check. And so I knew that we didn't have much. I knew we were shopping at Payless, And you know, we didn't get new clothes throughout the year. We would like have to shop at Nationals. Nationals was the equivalent, back in the day, Nationals was the equivalent to like Kmart, but smaller. And they sold like, we used to call them tough skins, these cheap ass jeans and shit. So I knew we didn't have money, because like even in our environment that I lived in, there was still people that was able to get like Jordans and things like that. Like I never had a pair of Jordans. Like we were like broke like that. Like in the environment of broke people, we were probably the brokest, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I still felt like the disparity and things like that. I remember one time my father, we caught up on our bills. I remember this like it was yesterday. It was my first time seeing him cry, because he caught up on his bills. Because we, like, for once, he had caught up on his bills. And mind you, it wasn't like he didn't have credit. He didn't have credit cards or anything. It was literally bills to live, light bill, you know, rent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we lived in a project, so I'm sure we didn't pay a water bill or anything like that. I think it was just like electricity and rent. Like, he was happy, like, that they finally, that it was emotional for him. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you know, grew up in that, and, you know, was not a good person for a long time in my life. Really, I can say that with all honesty. And, you know, once I was able to get out, and my father ended up dying of AIDS. He got AIDS from shooting heroin. And, you know, a whole lot happened in a period of time in my life, and I got homeless. You know, our house got raided. You know, I used to sell drugs and everything like that, and it got raided, and two of my brothers went to jail. Me and two of my brothers were staying together at the time, and they got arrested for a murder, and they ended up, you know, getting convicted and doing life, getting life in jail. And so when it first happened, I was homeless, and no one would take me, and I was offended by it initially. Like, none of my family.
How old were you when this was?
I was 18 at this time. I was 18, and all this happened. It was around Thanksgiving of 1996, around that time, right before Thanksgiving, November. And around this time of 96, and all that happened, and I didn't have a place to stay. No one wanted me there, and rightfully so, you know, but at the time I didn't get it. Like, they were my family. I didn't understand, like, y'all not gonna help me out. Really, it was like, I don't want this bullshit at my house. I was just out there. I wasn't a good person. You know, I didn't do good things. So one person in my life, my aunt, mind you, my mother is moved away. My mother is in Tennessee. I think she's in Alaska at this time, actually. She moved away, and I resented that for a while, because she moved away. Like, I would have been homeless when I first got out of juvenile hall. I was in juvenile hall for 2 years, and I would have been homeless then if it wasn't for my sister, because she hadn't moved away and just left me on my own. I was still a kid, you know, and I resented her for that. And she, out of the 2 years that I was in jail, she only came to visit me 3 times. And the 3 times was after my father died. Like, before he died, she never came to see me. We didn't have a good relationship. And, you know, it was hard for her too, you know, like, it took a long time for me to realize, like, what she went through as well, because, I mean, you know, this dude, because of his behavior, she got HIV. You know, he got AIDS and she got HIV, and to no fault of her own.
Your father.
My father got AIDS, and my father gave her HIV.
Right.
And to no fault of her own. So she had a grudge, and, you know, she had to deal with that. You're thinking about 1993 is when they found out. So at that time, it was a death sentence. There was that's all we thought. Like, we were uneducated. Like, my father, I remember, he wouldn't let us eat after him. Anything he would eat, he would, like, wash and bleach. Like, he was really, like, very scared of giving it to his kids, you know? And it's 9 of us. It was only 2 of us in the house at that time, me and my brother that's 2 years older than me. But yeah, so she was going through what she was going through, and I didn't know how to deal with it, because only thing I just knew is she just was a mean person, and I didn't get where it was coming from. I didn't understand it, you know? And it took years. It took years for me to really understand what she was actually going through at that time too. And that actually helped heal our relationship. I mean, you know, we have a better relationship than we ever had. It's not what I would wish. I would, you know, I've always longed to have a mother-son relationship. This idea of a mother-son relationship, which is what I saw with my friends and their mother. So a lot of times there was always a misstep because I always had this unrealistic expectation of her. She just couldn't fulfill it. It just wasn't in her. And so I had to like learn how to love her for who she was. And so I got to put this back on. This shit is hurting. I'm sorry. But yeah, so, you know, that happened. So anyway, you know, all that happened, and to go back to me being homeless, and no one would take me in. And then the only person that said they would give me a chance was my aunt, my father's sister. She said that, you know, she was like, she'll take a chance on me and let me stay with her. I mean, she did end up kicking me out in 6 months because I just, you know, my mind wasn't there. I was still who I was at the time. But her giving me that chance allowed me to see something different. It allowed me to see someone that looked like me, that was black like me, that was successful, that was...
Wait, you're black? You never told me that.
I just found out like 2 weeks ago. It
okay.
took a minute, yeah. It took a minute for me to even be comfortable with this. But I am. But yeah, you know, and seeing that, like she opened the door for possibility of me doing something other than being in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And really, she's been my rock ever since. I have her tattooed on the back of my arm. She helped me emotionally, financially. She never gave up on me, and I disappointed her so many times. And she was like the mother that I needed. She was the person that I needed. Like a mother, no matter what you do, they're your mother. Like you know, you can kill someone. Your mother's still gonna love you. You know what I'm saying? She's still gonna like, but that's my baby though. She's still gonna, you know, she's still gonna have that motherly love. And my aunt played that role. Like I disappointed her. I let her down. She was my aunt. She could have been like, you know what? I'm not taking this shit. I don't have to do this. Like I gave you a chance. You fucking up, and I'm still supporting you, and you still messing up. You know what? I'm done. And she didn't. And you know, she's my heart, and I love her to death for it, because I wouldn't have been able to be in the position that I am. I wouldn't have went to college. I wouldn't have had the courage to go to college. I was always insecure about my education. I never got good grades in school. I got kicked out of school in the 10th grade for bringing a gun to school. But even then, like I never got held back from school, but I never got good grades. Like Compton Unified School District and LA Unified School District, they would just pass people through. It didn't even matter. I think it had to do with like money and stuff like that, like something. So I never got held back, but I never got a passing grade. I never did the work. And my parents was never the type that would like check up to make sure. Like sometimes my parents would go a year without sending a report card because I would get to the mailbox before them and hide it. And they wouldn't even notice it until like the end of the year. It's like, we never got one of your report cards. And I would just act like, I don't know. And you know, it would be like that. So I was always insecure about that. And she was the one that gave me the confidence to know that I can do it. You know, it may take I may have to work harder, but it can be done. And because of, you know, her support, I was able to get into USC, man. And I got into USC's film school, and you know, now I'm here and still moving forward, still, you know, writing, and my ultimate goal is to direct films and do movies and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's really because of her, you know, and that's in a nutshell my story. I mean, it's obviously it's way more detailed than that, but in a nutshell, that's like my life.
So how'd you go from that to film school? When did you develop desire for film, and how'd that shift into like politics and social justice?
So, okay. I'm gonna just shift a little bit because think this position is making my shit hurt really bad.